Okay. All right, Galin, thanks for joining me. Welcome to the podcast. I'll give the floor to you. Why don't you introduce yourself and introduce what you're building in with mystartup.ai?
Sure, absolutely. Thanks a lot, Connor. Thank you for having me as well. It's a pleasure to be here. What am I building? Who am I? Shortly about myself. My background is in cybersecurity and digital forensics. My passion has been startups, and I've been working in both things simultaneously. I've been working in multiple startups. I've been working in my engineering role as well in cybersecurity, and I've been building my own project as well. And the project itself is called mystartup.ai. Whenever I was working on all those different startups, I came across a lot of difficulties, and I was working on the marketing departments, and in there, you in startup you need to build everything from scratch. You need to build everything that a marketing platform needs. So you need to do your marketing research, you need to get your target audience in place, you need to prepare your value proposition, your branding, your uh, content strategy, your lead generations, your the different marketing channels depending on what the project is, and all of these things they need to be done by you by hand automatically. It was not possible until now with the help of AI. So what I decided to do is I wanted to create a platform that's going to help all marketing professionals and all marketing people uh, to have all of these things combined in one place with different templates, with different explainers of what the marketing strategy for kind of pretty much every startup is and what you need to have on your platform. So it can be successful, of course, because when you start out of the blue and you're just kind of stuck, you know what to do with the basic things. You need website, you need branding, you need logo, and then what? Like people get stuck in it. You start searching for information left and right, but there is not really a platform that is combining all of these things and putting them into one. And that's what I wanted to do. I started working on that, and then I've seen ChatGPT coming out, and I said to myself, okay, so for my marketing platform, I need to have what else to build this. I need to have a business plan. I need to have my go-to-market strategy, marketing plan. I need to have my legal structure. I need to have my development, my branding. I need to have my pitch decks and presentations if I want to then go in front of investors, launch it. And I said to myself, okay, let me find a platform that is kind of combining all of these things together. And then I was searching left and right. There was no platform like this. And I said to myself, so this might be a gap in the market. And I started building a platform that is combining all of these things together. So that's what mystartup.ai is in general. An AI platform that allows you to build your startup from an idea only. So I wanted to make it as simple as possible for the user experience because I know people are lazy. They want one click to have everything in place. And I made it in a way that you come in, you enter a short description of your idea. It doesn't matter what kind of idea it is. Like, I want to sell shoes online. You enter that and you start with a couple of clicks building all of those plans for you. And they're going to be personalized towards the idea that you have.
And so does your AI platform integrate with ChatGPT? Is it using it as the engine behind it that is helping to produce those documents?
So the platform is not live yet. We are currently building it, but the idea is that it's going to be using multiple large language models. And we don't want to restrict ourselves only with ChatGPT just because there might be some limitations, there might be some outages and so on. So we want to use multiple. Uh, at the moment, the kind of one of the newest, most famous one would be Google's Gemini platform, and it was called Bard. I think now they renamed it to Gemini. And then, as of course, as you have that, I wanted to also implement a couple of different things that's gonna help the user generate different type of marketing materials, different types of images as well, if you want. So we want to implement Mid Journey. We want to implement as many as we can, so we can make the user experience much better.
And then, yeah, that's kind of one of my questions as well. So it provides that one-stop shop, right? Like there's nothing preventing someone from going to Gemini or me as well, like going into Chat GPT and say, hey, spit out a business plan for me to sell shoes online. So how will you like differentiate yourself? Is it the fact that you can just do everything from your platform as opposed to a very like canned answer from Gemini or Chat GPT?
Yeah, so the biggest difference is the prompt input. So to be able to write a good prompt, that takes a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, and a lot of test and trial. And I have done that. Most of the people, when they want to use ChatGPT, they ask very, very basic questions like, write me a marketing plan for my business that does this. But behind the scenes, ChatGPT is going to spit out similar information for each person that is asking similar questions. But the more information that you give to the platform, the better answers it's going to give you. And then to incorporate them in a way that after each strategy generation, it collects this information, it keeps it there, and the next output, it gives it much better in a way that it has already saved the information for your startup. And now every single new strategy that you generate is going to be much better and more clear. So the AI is going to understand and is going to learn about your startup, and it's going to give you better outputs as well. That as well as just combining all of these things together. I know there is, of course, marketing agencies that are doing all the things marketing. There is business plan generation agencies, I guess, that are doing that, but there is no platform that is combining everything in one place. And in general, let's say if you want to get an agency to do your marketing, if you want an agency to do your legal parts, to do all of these things, they charge a lot. Let's be honest here. And I wanted to make it very, very affordable for each person. I wanted to make it as well, of course, with the freemium features as well, where you'll be able to get your basic things done. So that is the plan so far.
What is the plan from a pricing perspective? Is it going to be a subscription based service? I don't know if you're willing to share, if you have an idea of like, hey, when this launches, you're going to get XYZ for this much a month.
There is not yet concluded regarding the pricing strategy, but most likely it will be a subscription model, yes.
And then I'm curious, maybe you can articulate to anybody out there that's thinking of starting a business or becoming an entrepreneur, what is the importance of having all these documents? Like, why even have a business plan? Why not just wing it? Say you want to sell shoes online, or you want to drop ship shoes, and you just kind of go online, you go to AliExpress and pick a shoe and start a store on Shopify and just kind of go for it? Why do you need to have all these specific things if you want to be a successful entrepreneur?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a nice question. And to answer that shortly, it's strategy and planning. If you skip some of the most important groundworks in your business, then at some stage, sooner or later, that's going to show up. There has been millions probably of startups going on Shopify, specifically with that example, and 98, 95, 98% of them probably has failed. Just because they don't have their groundwork in place. They just take this. Of course, that's as well a nice thing, trial and error. But the more trial and error you do, the more experience you get. And with each next section, you prepare yourself more. And this is what the preparation part is. The more you prepare yourself, the better you're going to know your next move. And you're going to have a brighter, bigger overview of your entire idea. When you have your business plan that says each of the sections that you need, you're going to be able to overview everything from quite a glance. Like, you have your executive summary with your business concept, your mission statements, the key objectives of the idea, your financial needs, if, of course, you want to be raising money. And then if you will be raising money, you need to have a business plan because that is like a requirement for each investor. They want to see your business plan. How are you going to make money? And then if you have the business plan also, you're going to be able to see different ways to make money. Instead of, for example, even with mystartup.ai, if you have a subscription model, is that it? No, because you can implement, let's say, a tokenized version where uh, in every large language model at the moment, there is tokens. The more tokens you use, the more you pay for it. So at the moment, you can implement that. You can implement in pretty much every website, you can implement advertisements. You can implement transaction fees. So these are all different income streams that are going to give you a much broader overview of your idea and startup. So it's a good to have.
And you brought up an interesting point there. Is there a specific niche of entrepreneurs that you're targeting? Is this somebody that is going to be a solopreneur, e-commerce person, someone that runs an agency, or are you more targeting people that are preparing for funding and want to be venture capital backed?
So I will keep at the moment this quite broad because the main idea of the platform is to bring you from a basic idea to a pitch ready startup. Pitch ready, that means you have all of your documentations, all of the things that investor want to see. So let's say if your goal is to get to a VC investor, the VC investors, they want to see all of your documentations ready. They want to see your go-to-market strategy. They want to see your presentation. They want to see your pitch deck. And what does the VC like in a pitch deck, let's say? Most people, they can create like a 50-slide pitch deck explaining everything. But most of the VCs, they just want to see 10 slides. They want to see problem, solution. They want to see the team. They want to see the market size. And that's about it. So if you have everything in one place, I think that's a win.
And so for people that are interested in your platform and planning on using it, I'm just curious, like how much work is the AI or the large language models? How much is it going to replace, right? Because I think AI is a very hot topic right now, a big buzzword. But I think that as an entrepreneur, right, or people you're going to work with, they're still going to have to do the work. They're still going to have the idea. And so I don't know if you could speak to that, right? It's not like you said, it's not like write me a business plan for selling shoes and then they have all these documents and they're done. So how do you balance that? Like, hey, you're going to have to put work into this, but we're really going to
Of
help
course,
you
absolutely.
get there.
There is no chance of you succeeding in something just by, typing a few things and getting a few outputs from the AI. Because every startup, every business needs the work done. You need to put the efforts, you need to put the work. And yes, the AI can save you a lot of time. Just for my last startup, uh, AI was not out. Uh, I spent like 1 year learning all of these things that the AI platform can give me, let's say in a week. Like, I already knew the marketing stuff. I already knew how to do things, but at the same time, I was still looking in multiple data sources to find a go-to-market strategy template. And I found a few. I wanted to combine them into one. I wanted to extract only the most valuable things. So when I go in front of investors, I can give them the most strategically well written go to market strategy. And at the moment, the AI can do it with a couple of clicks. And that saves you really a lot of time. And what my struggle was actually, it was the legal part, because I wasn't familiar with the legal parts in terms of, I know every law, I know the basics, I know what kind of companies I can register, let's say in Ireland where I am based, a limited company, and by shares, you can open a LLC or whatever else. But now with the help of AI, it can pick the information from the public databases from the government websites, and it can extract it and it can sort it out for you, that you'll be able to just with one click, from the platform, see this is for Ireland, the current laws, these are the type of firms that you can open, and these are the steps to follow. So with one click, it just gives you all this information instead of you having to go through and spend a lot of time and money for actual lawyers to explain to you all of this. You can just see it now straight away. So it does save a lot of time.
Yeah, so it cuts down on that research time or the administrative tasks, right? Like
Yeah.
even in PowerPoint now, I find it's really interesting where in the past you'd have to format a table and a picture and all this, and then now you just click designer and it says, hey, why don't you make your slide look like this, and you just click it and you're done. So I think you're right. It improves a lot of efficiencies. But my next question is, you're going to be providing this service to entrepreneurs and they're going to need to build their company. As you're building mystartup.ai, right? You're still in pre-launch. What are the biggest challenges you're facing? I think you just talked about some of the legal challenges, but like what are the roadblocks you need to currently overcome to launch this? Is it making sure the product's viable? Is it going to be customer acquisition? Is it finances? And maybe you could speak to that, right? If you're going to be working with entrepreneurs and helping them, maybe they can gain insight into kind of the struggles and roadblocks you're facing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, actually, this I don't have any more most of the struggles I've been having before. The biggest thing for me is what my background is actually. It's cybersecurity. So at the moment, I want to develop this app in a way that is secure. So I want to be able first to protect ourselves and protect our users. I don't want people exploiting the system. I don't want people trying to abuse it in any ways, and I don't want people getting their data exposed. So this is the biggest priority for me at the moment, and that's why I'm taking my time into testing and building out security measurements for the app.
And maybe if you could just touch on this really quickly, because I'm sure you know a lot better than I do. I mean, is that the case? Like, if you launch this, are there going to be dozens, hundreds of people trying to hack into and steal this data? I mean, is it that prevalent? I don't have any insight into kind of the hacking cybersecurity space, but I'm just curious.
Yes, there is a lot of people that are 24/7 attacking different types of website, different types of databases, and this is happening constantly around the world towards any kind of business. As soon as you get targeted, there is a small chance that you can avoid it. But if you have all the main security measurements in place, I think you'll be fine.
Is
That's
is that something that an entrepreneur needs to concern themselves with? I mean, are there basics that somebody can take if they are going to be running a business where you're going to be storing whatever it is, customers' credit cards or customer information?
absolutely. We need to be compliant with the laws, of course, and GDPR. We need to make sure that the customer's data is protected. But this is a tech startup that I am building. And if you're building a tech startup, you need to do your techs in a way that are secure. Most of the startups, they will not most likely be building something very techy, and they won't really need to bother so much. And if they'll be using some other platforms and not custom code, if they can use some no-code tools like Bubble, Webflow, or they can use Shopify, as you mentioned, those platforms, they have integrated security already, so they are protecting you automatically. You don't need to do anything about it.
Yeah, I
So
think that makes sense. Yeah. As long as you're not building your own software, don't worry about it, right? I think is the message. Um, okay, so I'm curious, maybe we could shift to you a bit and why you're choosing entrepreneurship. You've mentioned that you work in cybersecurity. You have a good 9 to 5. I know you have a family as well, wife and kids. And so it seems like you already have a full plate. Why add building this business on top of it?
well, I've always been competitive, to be honest, and let's say I don't satisfy myself with a little bit. I always want to grow more, to improve myself, get more experience, expose myself to more things, and I can manage my time very well. So I guess that helps a lot. There's been times that I've worked like 3 jobs at the same time, and also building another startup that failed. But uh, I know how to manage my time, and I don't maybe take care of my health that much with the sleep patterns, because I've been sleeping on average of 4 to 5 hours per day, and I don't recommend this to anybody. But if you want to succeed in something, you need to sacrifice some other things. I think sooner or later the good news will come.
Can you, if you're willing to, can you kind of break down a normal day, right? So you say you sleep for 4 hours. So are you, maybe just to give somebody else out there that also has a family and a full time job and they still want to start a business? I mean, so are you waking up at 4 in the morning to work on mystartup.ai, or are you able to balance your 9 to 5 where you say, okay, I'm going to, put a good 4 hours into it and then I can stop and shift to something else? I'm just curious, like, so how are you managing that time specifically?
So I don't focus on waking up early because I go to sleep very
Mm.
late, around 3 o'clock at night, and then I'm up, let's say at 7, 8. And as soon as I'm up, it's straight away going into the news, going up through your emails, uh, making coffees, looking through videos, looking through news, learning about things. That's a bad habit, but my phone is always with me, even in the shower. I'm always watching. I'm always trying to learn things, and uh, yeah, like the day starts, you start your works, you keep on looking through your emails, you start replying, you start doing your day-to-day jobs, and yeah, I finish probably around, oh, not anymore, it used to be like 6 7 p.m., but now I have signed up for a couple of more things. We're even doing an incubator at the moment for my startup, which is until 9 p.m. for a couple of days per week. And by the time you finish your work, you try to spend some time with the kids as well, with the family, and everybody goes to sleep, and I can just continue on the laptop, continue doing, continue researching, continue building, and like this until 3 a.m. in the morning, and then have a few hours of sleep and repeat the same thing.
And do you ever feel burnt out, or kind of a feeling like, hey, how can I sustain this? Or does that not cross your mind?
Yes, even today I just felt it overcoming to me, but squeeze the teeth and keep pushing. There is nobody there that's gonna come and do the work for you. So keep going. It's gonna
And and
pay
why?
back.
Why keep going? What's your why to keep going even when you kind of feel crappy?
Well, first of all, I do this for my family. I want my family to be good. I want them to be happy. I want myself to be successful. And there is, as I said, there is nobody that's gonna come and do the work for you. The life and of a man is a struggle overall, unless of course you're born with a silver spoon. But I'm not one of these people, so I have to fight for everything myself. And I think most people should aim to do the best that they can for themselves and for the people that they love.
Yeah, I think that's
And
a really good
if
why. Yeah.
yeah, if you're good yourself, you'll be able to help the people around you, the people that you love, as I mentioned, and I aim to do that.
So you're building something for other entrepreneurs. So why should they enter into this path as well? I mean, you kind of described it, and it doesn't sound so rosy. I mean, basically working for um, 18 to 20 hours a day. Most people won't sign up. So, why should others choose this path, and why is now maybe a better time than in the past to start a business?
Starting with the questions from the back, why is it now the best time? Is because we have at the moment a technology that allows you, first of all, we have the internet. Nobody ever had the internet before, of course, the 90s. We have the internet and we have at the moment AI. So everything that a person has struggled to do for many, many years, we can do that within a week at this time. Everything goes very fast. You need to create yourself a routine, or at least a tools kind of management where you have your own applications that help you do a quick research on things. And if an idea doesn't work out, you can move to another idea. If you don't have any ideas, you can ask the world for ideas, or just try to look around for things that people are struggling with. what is a person struggling with. And whenever you find a lot of people struggling with something, you have found a problem. And once you have the problem, you can look for a solution. And I think that is kind of the way to see things, the way to approach business in general. Don't just try to start something for starting something. If you have noticed a problem, try to solve it in them. And coming back to the second question, which was,
I'm trying to remember as well. Why should they sign up for basically what you've signed up for?
yeah,
18 hours a day of work, 4 hours of
nobody has
sleep.
to go through this. Nobody has to go through this. I don't encourage people to do it. But you have the other thing. If you want to be your own boss, if you don't want somebody telling you what to do, if you want to count on yourself, I think that is why most of the people do it. And that is why I am doing it as well. I've always wanted to start something for myself. I did start a couple of things. Some of them worked out, some of them didn't. But ultimately, I want to make sure that everything that happens in the business happens because of me. And if it fails because of me. If it wins because of me. And that's why I do it. Everybody have their own reasons, but some of people might be sick of 9 to 5, want to change things. So why not give it a try? And you can do it even when you're working your 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm. So I want to ask you a question, right? You said that with AI, it makes things a lot easier. Things that used to take months now take days or weeks or hours. And I think about this as well, but I think what it does is it levels the playing field for everyone. So, like you said, thousands of people are selling shoes on Shopify. So, how do you differentiate yourself? So, AI is a great tool, and yes, it gets you started much quicker than before, but it seems like it also increases competition. So, how do people not become discouraged by that, where they say, crap, there's already thousands of Shopify stores. Why is mine going to succeed? So, I think that's the double edged sword of technology, right?
Yeah, this is kind of part of the creativity, which not everybody is creative. We know that on the end of the day, everybody's creative, but of course, there are some people that they just can't come up with something new. And I think most of the people are like this. So, what I suggest is what I have been doing is take examples, let's say, from your competition. Take as many, let's say, websites, platforms, or businesses as you can. Let's say 10, 20 of them. Combine them, see what they're doing, see what you like from each of those businesses, and then create something new from combination of multiple of them. Add your own touch as well, and there you go. You have something new.
Yeah, it comes back to research as well, right? Like
Of course, yeah.
the internet
You
and
always
AI
have to do your research.
allows you to look at all your competition and say, okay, they're doing this and it's working. How can I tweak it? I think that makes a lot of sense. Um, the other piece too is around failure. I think a lot of people fear failure. You've mentioned it a couple of times that you've had other startups fail in the past. So I don't know if you want to go into too many details, but I think a point that I want to make is that you did fail, but you still have your 9 to 5, you still have your family, you're still starting this new venture. So maybe you could speak to what it was like to kind of go through a business or a venture that was failing and how you got up and decided to come back and try again.
Right. Yeah, I do have plenty of experience in the failed startups. Now, of course, back when Shopify started, I did try as well doing this. I was a lot in the Web3 space, working within a few companies. I tried to create my own clothing brands, kind of specialized towards um, Web3 and crypto designs. So that failed. But of course, didn't discourage me. I even started my own YouTube channel with explanations and learning and teaching people more about decentralization, blockchain, and so on. At that time, a lot of the projects actually scammed a lot of people, and I decided to close that down because I don't want to give the wrong advices to people. I don't want people to invest into, let's say, companies I review. So I didn't want to approach that way as well. So I had to close it down. I went into the Web3 space. I worked as a co-founder on projects. Actually, one of the projects was extremely successful that I worked on, and I went as a chief marketing officer in the project. I managed to build that from zero to, I think, over 100,000 followers uh, across one media, social media, then multiple others as well. And everything went successful. We launched. We got an initial investment. I think it was 2.5 million. Then we went for a public sale of the tokens. The project went to something like 400 million fully diluted market cap. And then the CEO decided to run away with the money and not pay anybody from the team anything. And of course, I tried with lawyers, but he was smart enough to go to jurisdictions that don't allow people to check basically their balances and so on. And in a way, that kind of really put me down. I was really, really disappointed because I owned a good percent from that company. I lost quite a lot of money, let's call it like that. And yeah, I was really, really disappointed. And then I couldn't even do anything. Like even the lawyers couldn't do anything. So it was quite smart way, unethical, of course. I hated it. And I said to myself, okay, that's it. I'm finished with other companies. I want to start something on myself. I want to make it legit. I want to make sure everybody that is on the team is paid. So nobody has this same feeling that I had. And yeah, that is my
Yeah,
kind of
maybe you could speak to
experience.
that too, or like what you learned, or how it changed, right? Like I think you said it led you to start your own company. And how do you recommend that entrepreneurs pick the right partner to work with to make sure that something like that doesn't happen?
Well, um, I can't really recommend to people how to pick their partner, but for myself, usually you go with your guts and then have a good contract in place. Make sure that whenever company is being opened, registered, make sure it is there, it is legit, it is in the public, it is everything is pretty much legit. Uh, that's where my mistake was. Even though there was some numbers, company names, whatsoever with that previous one, uh, that company basically didn't exist, or it just got deleted and got moved away. So there was nothing that we can do about it. And yeah, do your research shortly.
Yeah, yeah, that must have sucked. So I'm sorry that happened to you, but
It's
maybe we
okay.
could
That's life.
talk about it. Did it change your perspective on the Web3 and crypto space? And if so, what is your current perspective and where do you think it is headed, right? I'm assuming that happened to you kind of in the late 2020, 2021 area
Yes,
when it was,
around then, yeah. Now
um,
the first startups when I did on the Web3 space, they were 2016. So
hmm,
I was in there for a while now. But how did it change my perspective? What do I think the future is? So uh, I always knew there were a lot of scammers. Now it's even more, and they're getting smarter. They're getting more creative, and there will always be scammers. Not only in the Web3 space, you know, there you have. We call them allo scammers in Bulgaria. These are the guys that are calling you. I think it's a lot of in the UK. um, they're calling usually grandmas, grandpas, trying to fix their internet and something wrong with your bill. And they basically get access of your phone number, and from there they can reset everything. They can get access to your emails and your bank accounts, and then they just leak your money out. And there's going to be a lot of those anyway, so don't click on links. Make sure whenever there is a link, it's coming from the original source. um, Protect your passwords, change them often, make sure there's very strong, include, you know, big numbers, small number, letters, numbers, symbols, and so on. uh, do backups if you can for your, not if you can, you can, like you have the cloud at the moment, you have Google Drive, you have uh, many others. And what is the future? The future is bright. I think from a security perspective, I'm always concerned, of course. Don't invest money that you cannot afford to lose. But the technology itself, it's been great for a while now, and there is no really way to break it unless, of course, even with a supercomputer, I think it was gonna take a few billion years to crack the cipher. But yeah, blockchain in general, it's a decentralizations of databases. Let's imagine it like that.
Mhm.
This removes the one point of failure way that something can break down, and that's what is kind of the greatest thing about this technology. Like, of course, with the digital payments that are, a couple of seconds, you can transfer millions everywhere in the world. The just blockchain in general, there is huge applications that we can use in the future, and now implementing AI in that as well. There's gonna be a lot of things coming up soon that are gonna shock people. Of course, we have Elon Musk already developing a brain chip that he's going to.
Yeah.
I don't want to say too much about this, but if this is to happen, he said within the next 5 years, a lot of people are gonna want this, and the data information that is gonna be coming across between people or just to each person that has that chip, it's huge. It's like data loads, overloading of information is gonna make every person like a superhuman, let's call it like that. And it seems like this thing is getting close, so we don't know where this is going.
And
Nobody knows
you
yet.
mentioned earlier that you're optimistic though. Like, do you see the downsides of some of these things as well? I mean,
Oh yeah,
you're
there is
speaking
a lot
to
of downsides. The AI in general is scary. Once I don't want to scare anybody, so maybe it's better if not to speak about this. But there is a lot of things that can happen that are unexpected, depending on what the machine think is good for the planet, for humanity, and for itself. So there is a lot of how to say it.
downsides to it, right? I mean,
Yeah. Let's go conspiracy theories about this,
yeah.
and some of those AIs, when it started communicating between themselves in a brand new language that was developed from those two machines, and they developed that so the human can't intercept it and understand it. That happened actually some years ago, and they decided to switch off this project. I'm not sure if it was from Google or Microsoft, but that was that first initial AI exposure of the humans, of us people, what we've seen, and we got scared apparently from it, switched it off. Now it's starting back up, and we'll see what's gonna happen. Overall, I think AI and the way we are using it and we'll be using it in the next years is gonna be just positive for the humans.
Yeah. So what's your perspective on it? I mean, obviously you're building a company that utilizes it, right? So despite its downsides, I think you need to embrace it, right? Is that kind of your perspective as well, and
Absolutely,
use it
absolutely. I'm
for
sure the
positive things?
governments. Yeah, sorry for interrupting. I'm sure the governments are going to build a lot of restrictions around it, around AI, and uh, the people, me, you, everybody else around, we can try to use that as much as we can for positive things. We want to make this as part of our lives where AI is actually helping us, and we are going to that direction for the moment.
And I know that since you're kind of in the cybersecurity space, right? And I know that cryptocurrencies are illegal, for example, and I believe in like Pakistan as an example of a country that doesn't allow cryptocurrencies. But again, how do you actually ban it as a government? Or if they say, hey, you can't use AI to create deep fakes, I mean, doesn't it just go underground into kind of a dark web? I mean, just because the government says you can't do that, I would imagine that they're still going to exist, right?
Unless you ban internet, you can't really buy ban crypto and Web3. I mean, just setting up a VPN. uh, changing yourself to a different country and installing MetaMask wallet, and there you go, you have it. So unless you ban the internet, they can't really stop this. It's like a technology that is open for everybody. Of course, they can put some sanctions. If you get caught, they can take whatever, they can arrest you and so on. But overall, I'm not sure if this can be stopped at this day.
Yeah, crazy times. So maybe we could kind of close out. I'm curious what
Mhm.
if you, and I know everything changes so fast now, but if you look 5 years into the future, where do you want your startup to be? Where do you want my startup AI to be from a product, revenue, whatever perspective? I'm just curious. What's your vision for the future?
Yeah, the vision has been always to help as many people as possible. And in 5 years' time, hopefully, mystartup.ai could be the central place for all startups to come and test and validate their idea.
Very nice. I'll to close us out, I'll give you the floor. Where can people find you? Any final thoughts for entrepreneurs out there about your business, whatever? I'll give you the floor to close us out.
Sure, yeah, people can connect with me on LinkedIn, Galin Dimitrov with 3 Vs. I'm free there. Shoot me a DM. We can chat regarding everything. Mystartup.ai. We haven't yet launched officially, but we will be soon. Make sure to check that out as well. And yeah, thank you very much for having me today. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
thanks for taking the time. I think it's interesting. Hey, I wish you the best of luck. I mean, like we talked about, pretty exciting times, and I hope you're able to use AI to kind of create an amazing company in life for you and your family. So again, best of luck. Thanks,
right.
Colin.
Thank you very much, Connor.